is over. All Madden podcast is back. Einhorn, we are back, my dude. I know you've been clamoring for this podcast. Playoffs are here. Will and Levon are here to break it down. How's it going, brother?
What's going on, brother? Was you in the core? No, we're not brothers today, son. This week we're not brothers, all right? This week we're enemies. This is purely professional courtesy that I'm even here today.
Okay, true.
Einhorn, RK, we got a lot of call outs in the chat, so I felt like I had to come in and make an appearance. But don't you
Well, I
act like
appreciate you making
we're
time.
pals or something. This is Patriots week, baby. We straight business today.
All right. Well, yeah. No, I'm glad we're potting today, and we got our game tomorrow. But we've got a lot to talk about. A lot of good playoff matchups to get through. But just first of all, how you been, dude? It's been so long.
Fuck, man. It's been, 3 weeks at least since we hopped in the booth. I've been good. Been good, enjoying my dad life. Went back to work, so obviously, schedule got a little tighter. So that's why pods have slowed down. But enough about me, bro. Tell me. I mean, look at your background. You look like you're in a cabin. Sick vibes. You got your nice bike in the back. I don't know what that is. Is that like a trombone? Is that what it's called?
What, behind me, right here, hanging
Yeah.
up?
Yeah.
I think it's just like a hanging mirror. I literally just got here like half an hour ago, so I'm in a cabin in LA. I've been out here for the last few days. I was in Santa Barbara the last couple of days. I did a triathlon with my brother, and then I just came to LA today. So yeah, I got the bike out here. I'll be here all month, just training, living in this cabin, working East Coast hours, like waking up 6 a.m. meetings and shit, done at 2 p.m. But just here living the single life, enjoying myself.
No, that sounds like a great vibe, man. Cabin, first of all, cabin in LA. I would never put those two together,
I
but
know.
yeah, give us a little look around. Wow, looks great. Let me see the windows.
Yeah, I got a little, and I got this. Yeah, I got this deck out here. It's pretty
Yeah,
sick.
yeah, it looks pretty cool, man.
Brought my bike for the race, and I'll be training on that. So,
Do a little hop on the bed. Test it. I'm just kidding. Now show two forms of ID before we get started. Some people will get it. Um, what else has been on? So you said you had a triathlon. Did you place? How did that go?
yeah, no, I got third place. So I've gotten third in back-to-back races, which kind of is like, lowest spot on the podium. So I'm trying to level up and get my shit together.
Wow,
But
no fucking humble bone in this guy. Um, at least he didn't regress. That's good. If you look at the positive, point
no,
positive.
I'm saying third, and it sucks. Like I am not happy with third. I need to win some shit. But
Okay, sure. Well, either way, man. What anything else that's significant we haven't talked about in a while? I mean, we got lots to cover, I feel like, and we'll get to it as fast as possible. Broncos are kicking off in about 30, 45 minutes here. So I'm sure we both want to tune into that.
we do.
You want to do a quick review of the season before we jump into the thing?
Yeah, I'm gonna need you to take the lead on that, just because I don't have my Xbox or anything set up in front of me. But I want to hear from your perspective a little season recap.
Okay. So a little season recap. Obviously, some of the division winners. We can go on AFC. Divisions were taken by the Steelers, Texans, Broncos, and Patriots. And then wild cards were Raiders, Jags, and the Chargers. So that's your playoff teams from the AFC. I'm sorry, and then from the NFC, Stevie comfortably locking into that number one seed, taking the division. Commanders, very surprising, the number two seed, also in the division. Bears and Cardinals, all securing divisions also. And then in the wild card, you have Jason coming in at 5 seed, Giants and Einhorn at 6, and we got our boy JJ number 7 seed, very close to me missing the playoffs this year after Super Bowl appearance last year. Um, Packers notably the worst record in the playoffs, only 9-win team. Yes, so. Um,
So from that crop of playoff teams, what's
mhm.
like the big headline for you? What stands out?
It had a lot. I think some of the bigger headline if not the biggest. I think is only one AFC East team. That's a surprising little. Only Patriots, and they're not even number one seed. I mean, that's another story that we could potentially argue that is even bigger story that week before week 18 game was played that morning, Patriots were number one seed, looked like they were about to lock it in, and then they dropped all the way down to 4 seed after a loss, with Broncos loss and then Steelers win. uh, that's another story. Steelers
That's what I was
finishing
gonna say.
their possibly the Madden 24 career with a number one seed sandwich seasons. Didn't
Yeah,
make playoffs at all after first season, and then now back to number one seed. Very interesting. I think that's the highest rated offense in the whole game. Believe it or not, very very talented offense. So it's gonna be interesting to see how that goes down. Let's see what else. What else do we have? Hmm,
that's crazy though. Like first and last season are his only playoff seasons, and both times he was the one seed. That's like a sandwich with like top of the line bread with just like spam and little cheese packets in the middle
oh.
and on the inside. So good for Hank. I'm glad he's engaged.
Yeah, I am happy for them also. Uh, okay, so speaking of seasons and possibly being a last season, I do want to bring this up and kind of like put it out there for people just to maybe start even talking about it in the chat to see, because I know Kamish Group possibly has like a plan for this next season, right? Because obviously we have a few weeks before the Madden new Madden drops, and we switch over to Madden 24. 24. Yes. So, as a sincere that kind of commish voice in this podcast, walk us through what is uh what's the plan? Is there a tentative plan, concrete plan? What's going on?
Well, we kind of good question. So we just started the playoffs, so we assume that the playoffs will wrap up probably in like the next 8-10 days or so, and then
Mm-hmm.
the plan is after that, basically, it'll probably be one of two things. One thing was voted on, and then a couple ideas have been kicked around that are similar to what was agreed upon, which
Mm-hmm.
was basically an abbreviated final season with no real trophy being awarded, just a way to continue playing and keep the boys engaged between now and the start of the next league. But basically, how it would work is as soon as the Super Bowl ends, we will sim to one of two. So the vote that won was simming to the middle of next season and then playing out the second half of the season. We've also heard ideas. You brought up a good idea. What if we flipped it? What if we simmed the beginning of the season, played the first 8 weeks, and then simmed the remainder of the season?
And the reason I brought that up, I think that was this something was discussed between you and I in just a chat, so briefly, and I kind of want to like expand on that. The reason I brought that just came to me, and I just immediately texted to you. The reason that idea came to mind is because just obviously my mind just went to straight nightmare mode from last year. Right, we didn't get to start new man until like mid October, which was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
So the flipping of the sim idea gives us a little more flexibility, um, with possible extra season with this Madden. And obviously, Madden, the game itself is very unreliable. As we've seen, there's a lot of updates with its franchise mode. Probably the most updates with the franchise mode in any of the Maddens, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have different sliders, different. There's so much room to for the game franchise mode to be fucked up on the kickoff. So I was saying, I think the best idea, my personal idea, and people, once you guys listen, would love to hear your idea, if you agree or disagree. I think the best idea would be to start the season next season as as if we were playing a full season, at least till we get the game out, and we know the drafts works. Once that's done, let's say we're in week 8, week 9, by the time game comes out and the commish group does a mock draft and they identify there's no problems, then we can sim rest of the season, and if you want to just play out the playoffs, whatever, it's fine. If not, most people I'm sure will be okay moving on to the new Madden. But if not, nightmare scenario. We have some kind of bug in a game, and that makes us push uh, switch over to new Madden. At least we don't have that sim in the front end of the season, so you don't have like that mind in your head. I'm like, man, fuck that. If I didn't start it off 3-4 or 3-5 in my sim games, I might have been in playing in the playoffs. Because if that's the case, and the Madden release, not Madden release when you get pushed back, but our switch over to Madden 24 gets pushed back, and we have time to push it, squeeze in another full regular season, then the whole stipulation of not a real trophy and that stuff can go away, and we can actually finish the full season. That's obviously not an ideal scenario. Like I'm ready to move on to a new game too, but I feel like it is it would be a little very trustworthy of Madden and little fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me type of deal. If we just before the Madden's even released, we're like, yes, in the season we trust Madden's gonna release the product that's gonna have no bugs, and that's where my idea came. I was like, maybe we should play it on the safer side.
That's really smart. That's really smart. And I hope the commissioners listen to this and we can talk about it tomorrow and try to
Yeah,
figure it out.
yeah,
That's a really good point. I didn't even think about it from that perspective of, okay, like, yeah, exactly what you explained. So makes a lot of sense.
yeah. And then people will say, I know a lot of people are ready to move on, kind of like down with this game. And not surprising. So a lot of these teams are usually losing teams. This happens every summer. Like teams that have not had a lot of success, they're just done with the game. Going to the blame game instead of more of blaming the game. They're taking responsibility for themselves. So
I'm
we're at
so
that
sick
point.
of it, dude. I'm so sick of reading it, like in the chat, like people saying,
Okay.
fuck this game, they're gonna quit. Like, dude, we're all
Um,
playing the same game and it's been a year. Like, you shouldn't be surprised by anything that happens in this game. And it's just a fucking game. Like, have some like mental
mm,
resiliency. We have like so many weak-minded, sore losers in our league. Like it frustrates me so
um,
much to see this shit. Like people like raging about this game. Like it
wow,
is really
spicy though
pathetic.
today. No, you're right though. You're right. And for somebody as for most of the people in the chat who are very active, such as yourself and myself and many others, and we try to watch a lot of games, and after every game, when we hear the same excuse, same blame game, it does get a little frustrating. You're like, come on, man, I saw you throw into a triple coverage, and you're just mad that your receiver didn't even jump. I'm not pointing anybody out, by the way. This is just an example I made in my head. I feel like I hear a lot. My receiver didn't even get a jump animation. Uh, I don't even think that's this year's Madden thing. I feel like that happened since like Madden 12. Sometimes the receiver does
Dude.
not make animation, and sometimes in real life, receiver doesn't make a play on a ball. I feel like that is a very realistic outcome, and it's kind of unpredictable, and that's what makes the game sometimes a little more enjoyable. Like imagine if you knew exactly the outcome of every single pass you ever made. That would be the most boring game ever.
It
So
would.
the imperfection of the game is part of the experience of it all. And I think the sooner you accept that, the more enjoyable the big game's gonna become for you. So but
This is season 5. Everybody's going to have played 85 games. Like the animation luck is all evened out, over a sample size that big. So to be complaining about animations or any of this bullshit, it's so lame, dude. I'm sick of it.
yeah, it's definitely played out. And I encourage everybody to kind of look within yourself. New Madden comes out, just get ahead of the schedule, learn those things, and adapt to those things. Like know that hey, um, when the momentum's on the full bar filled up on my opponent's side, maybe I should check out what his abilities are. That way, I'm not surprised when his edges are just insta shedding when I'm trying to make that 30-yard completion. Those things really play in the game, and I'm not perfect. I make those mistakes all the time, and I get frustrated in a moment. But then when I think back to it, I'm like, fuck. Or that's why I have my stream up. I look at the stream, and I'm like, oh yeah, that guy did get beat, or he got bumped off, or so and so and so. Again, this games will never be perfect, and I think we're very fast to judge the game. But I feel like Madden eventually kind of delivered what they promised. This has been the most complete game as far as like gameplay.
Yeah, and if you go back and watch videos of old games or go back and play games, you realize how
Yeah,
much better it is than past games. It's just
yeah,
like
I think so too. I think so.
main point though. I just like win with grace, lose with grace. Like when you're doing that bullshit too, you're putting your opponent in a really awkward situation as
Oh,
well.
yeah,
Like
we've talked about it quite a few times when you're in a party chat with somebody who's clearly really overly frustrated with the game. It's just
yeah,
you kind of ruin the experience for the other guy too. So
yeah.
okay, so I'm glad we got that out of the way. Oh,
Let's get
probably
to what matters.
yeah. Let's get to what matters, which is our NFL playoffs, all Madden playoffs, season 5, Madden 23, possibly, quite possibly, hopefully, the last season of this current game. All right, so let's start off on the NFC side, shall we?
Yes, we shall. I'm trying to hide this all Madden logo in the top right because it's blocking the Commanders, and also I
Mm,
can't see the bottom right team, but that's okay.
I don't see anything.
Okay, you don't see. Okay, it worked then. Cool.
Only thing that's blocked is the Falcons for me.
Yeah, Falcons in the bottom right. All right, so let's do it. Let's start with the top right.
Okay, Commanders
Well,
and the Packers. This
this
is
was
go
an
ahead.
NFC Championship last year, wasn't it?
It was, yeah, two very unlikely teams, and they meet again early into the playoffs. This, well, I say unlikely because none of us had any of those teams going past divisional round last year. Uh, but
And JJ got the free win.
oh, that's right. But I don't think we had them winning the wild card round because they were not the number one seed, were they?
No, Jason was.
Yeah, and I think JJ ended up beating. Was it Dan? No, who was it? I can't recall, but I remember he was an upset in our heads at least. So these two teams looking. The first thing that comes to my mind, these are two very defensive teams. Uh, when I'm looking at the Commanders, securing 2 seed with that very turnover happy offense is actually really impressive and surprising. Um, and then Green Bay Packers, we know Nick Bosa led defense is really good also. What is your what think who do you think has the edge in defensive battle in these two teams?
I think we've seen it for 2 seasons. I think the Packers are extremely legit defensively. Their points allowed were right around. They weren't on the level that they were last year. I think they were right around 200 points allowed last year, which is fucking crazy. They're a little higher than that this year, but still one of the top, if not the top, defenses in terms of points allowed. And I just looked it up. Both of their first round matchups last season or last playoffs. So the Packers upset the Bears,
Ah, that's what it was. Yep, Bears.
and then the Commanders down and beat Edge and the Lions in round one. And as
Ooh.
soon as he won that game, he was booking flights to the Super Bowl, and I think he overlooked the Packers a little bit.
Yeah, I do remember Edge was a favorite coming out of NFC. MVP, Jaron Hall, MVP
Mm-hmm.
winner Jaron Hall had a great season. Okay, so looking at defensive rankings in NFC, Packers are number 3 and Commanders are number 5. And overall in the AFC, they have both. Let's see, Packers number 3 and Commanders do drop to, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So they're both top 10 defenses, but as you predicted, and Packers are the superior defense, at least by the numbers. Um, Interestingly so, top 3 defenses in league this year were all NFC teams: Falcons, Giants, Packers.
Wow.
Yeah. Uh, okay, let's look at number by number. So Packers are better at getting to the quarterback. Not surprising with Nick Bosa, and they have forced a lot more fumbles, 3 more fumbles than Commanders. But Commanders are better at picking off the opponent with 45 interceptions to
Hold up.
Packers 39. Yes.
I can only name one defensive player on the Commanders, and it's Dallin Denton. Can you
No.
name any?
Yes. Fuck. Now that you say it, I'm gonna forget. I forgot his name. But the defensive back. He has a good, really fast defensive back. 99 speed, I believe. Man, he's been locked down. Let's see. So the interception leader on that team is Derek Stingley.
Oh, okay.
Yep. And then Bryce Hall, he's tied with an interception lead with 8. So here's the cool thing about this defense, right? He doesn't have a player with more than 8 interceptions on his team, but he has team 45 interceptions. So everybody, JC Jackson is the 99 speed corner, by the way.
Mm.
Uh, so JC Jackson, Derek Stingley, playing at safety, interesting. So and Bryce Hall, that's your and Dallin Denton, obviously that's your safe 4 defensive backs who are kind of like really turning the ball over. We also got Kalon Barnes, little veteran guy, and some other some other people, but that's your big guys. Derek Stingley, Bryce Hall, J.C. Jackson, and Dallin Denton. Let's see who's the sack leader because I'm surprised. Yeah, no big names on the
Pass
front
rush.
seven. Doesn't yeah pass rushing positions. There's Alex Highsmith. This is leading sacker, I should say, with 9 sacks. But to compare to the Packers, um, let's see, Nick Bosa's 28 sacks. Like, yeah, absolutely. That's the difference, right? Game wrecker.
28.
One man game wrecker, absolutely. And we all know, man. I mean, you have a really good pass rushing duo also with Brian Burns and Will Anderson Jr. Those those quick, speedy rushes off the edge with the momentum behind your back when you can just pin your ears back and just purely go around the edge of the tackles is so effective in the long passing downs or like late in the game when you know the opponent has to pass. So yeah, Nick Bosa, fucking beast. 28 sacks, 35 tackles for loss, and let's go
Okay. Who are you picking? Who are you picking?
2 forced fumbles. Um, hmm. I think I
We
think
didn't talk about any of these picks prior to the pod, also. So if we have
yeah,
the same pick, sorry.
yeah, we didn't. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna go with JJ here. Super Bowl appearance a lot from last year. This gives me a little more confidence, and I I think what pushes me over the edge for JJ is that he just does not turn the ball over as often as Dallin and Lamar with Lamar Jackson. I think that's the biggest issue. 99 overall quarterback, really good quarterback, and he really can't stop turning the ball over. And I think with that pass rush, it's gonna be tough to get over that. All right, what you got?
I feel you. I think yes, you're right. The point about the turnovers is a good point, but I
Hmm.
think that the Commanders have an explosive element on their offense that the Packers definitely lack, and I think that there's a great locker room speech that the Commanders can give to their players. You know, we saw this team, we kind of overlooked them last playoffs. We're not going to let that
Ooh,
happen again. We've got the home field advantage here.
yeah.
2 seed, like if we're going to make a run, it's going to be now or never, obviously. So I like the Commanders in this game.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's really we're really splitting hairs. They're very similar teams with very two different outcomes. Uh, and you're right. Commanders do have a lot of explosive type of plays on offense. So yeah, it's gonna be a fun one. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Bears versus the Giants. Einhorn versus fucking game. I'm just kidding. All right. So, what you got? You take us off on that.
I don't know. This is a tricky one and a good matchup. There's two guys that know football, smart football guys. Um, Adams had a little bit more playoff success than Einhorn, but Einhorn has been, above average ever since he joined the league. So this is probably one of the hardest games to pick of the slate here. I really don't know where to go. I'm interested to hear what you have to say about it.
Yeah, so they're both 11-6, so they finished almost identical. They're on the NFC side, they're really close in offense too. Bears have about little over 800 yards more offensive totals. 43 touchdowns to Giants 38. So it's very similar output of offense. Uh, I'm sorry, Giants are a little more. No, actually, I wouldn't say they're more balanced. They're both kind of pass heavy offense. Bears have 4,400 yards of passing offense. Giants have 43, and then they're both under 1,300 in rushing. So it's gonna be interesting matchup. I think this is this is gotta be the time for Einhorn to show off some playoff success. I'm gonna take Einhorn in this game, but it really could go either way. I would totally not be surprised if Adam totally outclasses him. I also would not be surprised if Einhorn just wins comfortably. So I'm gonna pick my pick is gonna be Einhorn, but really it's 50-50.
Okay, fair,
The
fair.
top
I think
bottom
these are
bottom.
two guys. I'm going straight narrative on this one. Two guys that kind of sometimes let the game get the best of them and lose their
Mhm.
composure a little bit. So I'm going to go with the guy who's been in more of these high pressure battles in his all Madden career. So I'll go with the Bears and give the slight edge to Adam at home.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, move on to the last NFC wildcard game is Atlanta Falcons versus my new team coming up Falcons versus my old team Arizona Cardinals. All right, well I'll start us off. So this is it's almost unfair matchup for our boy Chasey J. It's gonna be a this is a very tested team. Only one of two repeat Super Bowl champions in this year's Madden, excluding you. And I think Falcons are just way too talented on offense, way too talented on defense, and overall very talented user, very creative user. I mean, we talk about Falcons almost every year, and when it gets to playoffs, we always highlight how creative his user adjustments are on defense. He's really fast with the twitches and clicks and adjusting. Man, he'll come out with man coverage, but he'll give you zone looks in certain areas which you're not expecting. So he's really good at that. So I think Chasey J with Deshaun Watson, he just lacks star power on the offense to match up against that defense, and even on the defense, same thing. So I'll take Jason here.
Yeah, I think I got to go with Jason as well. I mean, give Chasey a puncher's chance because I think he's pretty good
Mhm.
on the sticks. But yeah, I got to go with the two times rings, even though he's got a new quarterback this season, Pablo Sanchez. But I think he'll still get it done.
Right. Okay. So that wraps up NFC. Let us know if you guys agree, disagree. I'm sure we'll have some on both sides. And moving on to AFC, starting off with Texans and the Chargers. Roll Alex and our boy Brina. Okay, this is gonna be a interesting matchup because if this was like 2 seasons ago, I would say, "Oh, this is gonna be like if Texans really can pull off couple of defensive stops and play their style of." But Alex's style has changed. He's Mister Chuck it up to Dotson now, right? He's
Yeah.
Mister Air Raid now. No more, none of this fucking little crossers and little out routes. He was chucking it up. So this is gonna be my prediction is it's gonna be a high scoring game. Um, Now there's a caveat we can only pray for that Brina has the stable internet at a time with no roommates knocking Wi-Fi routers over. So let's
True.
pray on that. Let's make sure that's 100% secure. Put that bitch in a fucking box or some shit. Um, and as far as who my picks are, you know what? I'm gonna go with my AFC West rival and pick the Chargers over Texas.
Hey,
Yeah.
I like that pick because I think these are two teams that kind of drag their opponents into a tight game, no matter who they're
Yeah.
playing. Right? We saw the Chargers do that earlier in the season to the Broncos. He beat
Mm-hmm.
RK, which was fucking huge. I know that game's going to be in the front of Brina's mind when he's playing this. He's like, I knocked off the Broncos. I can knock off the Texans here. But I got to go with the Texans, my Super Bowl champ pick. If you
Mm-hmm.
remember earlier in the season, I had him beating the Panthers in the Super Bowl.
Those
And
don't matter anymore.
what?
I said those don't really matter anymore.
Hey, I mean, I'm kind of sticking with mine. Unless I play the Texans in round two, then I have to switch up my pick.
Oh,
But
okay.
Jahan Dotson, you said it. He figured something out with the freeform passing. And yeah, give me the Texans. But in a close one. I think I would not be surprised if the Chargers win.
Okay. Yeah, I do think this is a high scoring close game. Like both are like in 30s at least, like 42-30, 42-38, or I mean 42, yeah, 35. Like one score game, um, or I mean, you could also play a blowout. We're gonna go with tight, high scoring game. I'm thinking of like Chiefs Bills a couple of years back when they scored like I think 36 each, and then went to overtime, and then was a super thrilling game. That's what I'm thinking. Okay, number 3 seed the Broncos versus number 6 seed the Jags. The AFC Championship. No, that was not AFC Championship. That was divisional round matchup, right? He beat you in AFC Championship. What was the vice versa?
That's right. Yep, that's right.
Okay, so a little rematch between the Broncos and the Jags. Jags very up and down season. They came out hot. They slowed down mid-season, and then they picked it back up, and they kind of had like a little slack ending to the season. Um, and I don't want to, I don't want to go with same AFC West thing here, but I think Arcade and Broncos are gonna take care of business here.
Okay. I fully believe that the Jaguars have something figured out when it comes to the Broncos. I put in the chat, can Lightning strike 3 times? Because they had that playoff matchup.
They
They
beat
had
him
a
regular season.
regular season last year that gave me the path to the 1 seed. I think that's probably why I won the Super Bowl, because Terrell hooked me up with that win.
That was
So he's
so
won
there.
his last
Yeah,
two.
that reminds me of that win. The Dolphins beating the Patriots in that game in 2015. They gave us the 1 seed, the World Broncos, when we won the Super Bowl. Is
Mm,
that kinda how you went down for you? Because Dolphins beat the Patriots in the Week 18 to tie the record with us with 12-4, and we got the number 1 seed. And I believe that was the game where Gronk missed that tackle on that little you know Hail Mary play with that little
was it that?
roll. Is that what I'm thinking of? Maybe I'm thinking of.
No, I think that was a couple years later. It was like a late season game in Miami though, like
Okay, so it was
a
definitely
weird
Miami
empty.
who won that game.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I just got years mixed up. Well, that's a great point, man. And you might say, can Lightning strike 3 times? I might say Jax might be the matchup nightmare for the Broncos. We'll have that one matchup nightmare. So, because Jax is very, very aggressive, like kind of like unconventional player type of guy. Like he'll be like 13 inches, and he'll come out in QB sneak formation and do a play action and throw a 30-yard pass. You just never know what's coming from him. He's very outside of box thinker guy. So yeah, that's gonna be a fun matchup. Another high scoring game I'm anticipating. But if Jags start turning the ball over early, and this is what I'm afraid of, right? Broncos secondary is very talented. They have a very talented pass rusher in Rashard Gary. If that, and the game's just starting.
Yeah.
Uh, if that game gets out of hand early, I see this a bad, bad, bad blowout for the Broncos.
Yeah, there is a scenario where RK, he's got no trophies this Madden. He gets trophies in every Madden. He could just be the LeBron gif, on the Heat, where he's just
The
like
sunglasses.
Terminator. He's going to
Yeah.
run through these playoffs. I could see a world in which that happens. But yeah, let's get through this last game because I do want to watch that game.
Okay,
Um,
so Broncos Patriots. This is a classic.
Raiders Patriots
Yeah, I'm sorry. Raiders Patriots is a classic. Shoot, what do you call it?
rivalry.
I mean,
Tuck rule.
we are 1-1. Yeah, tuck roll game. We are 1-1 in the playoffs. This is a playoff rivalry, I would call it, right? This is the first time we finally. This is the first time we finally matched up in the playoffs again. We have a very, very, very. You have huge
First
success.
time this Madden, right?
Yeah, first time it's Madden. Yeah. You have a lot of success against me in regular season. It's no secret. Again, I'll talk about it. Matchup nightmares a lot. But something changes in the playoffs. And the last time we faced each other in the playoffs, it took a lot of miracles on both sides to for the outcome to come out. And miracles on
Such
your
an
side,
epic game.
especially, it was almost a blowout, or at least a two-score loss for you. But you know, I guess we'll stop. We'll keep it at that. But my picks are obviously are Raiders. I think that's why I said Super Bowl picks don't matter because I did have Pats over. Um, I'm sorry, Panthers over Pats for my Super Bowl picks, and then and then I turned it up and won a bunch of games at the end of the season. So now I'm riding.
Hey.
confidence. Yeah. So I think Raiders win this one and face either. Let's see, we'll be facing either. If my picks are right, that means I'll be facing the Broncos in a divisional route. Honestly, I wouldn't want any other way. Give me the route that makes my legacy as concrete as possible. I would love to beat the Patriots, beat the Broncos, beat
The
the
Texans.
Texans in AFC Championship, and then beat. I think I'm still going Panthers for my Super Bowl pick from AFC. I mean NFC, and then beat the Panthers in the Super Bowl. We've been Stevie and I have been begging for a nice Stevie Levon Super Bowl, so that'd be a perfect cap off and walk off in the sunset for Madden 23. Bow on the top. I'll be happy. Who's your pick, man? I'm interested. Yeah.
You're kind of winning me over with your pick. I don't know. I think I might pick the Raiders. Sounds like a good little narrative, and no, but I'm gonna bring it tomorrow. I need to get a monitor so I can actually play in this fucking cabin. There's no TV, so I got some logistical issues to figure out before we can get this game going tomorrow. But it's gonna be fun, bro. I can't wait.
Just buy TV and then return it before you leave.
Yeah, I might do that with like a little monitor.
Yeah, keep the fucking things on. You won't have to do anything crazy. All right, game kicked off. Broncos got the ball first. All right, well, let's wrap this up so we can tune into this game. Good talking to you. We are not friends for now, so don't talk to me. Don't be texting me about don't be sending me no TikToks. You're my enemy.
Deal.
No,
All right.
I'll be your
Tunnel
friend.
vision.
Yeah, I'm locked in. All right, brother. Nope, not a brother. All right, pal, bud. We'll see you later.
All right.